We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live, Boxing Ego Unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live.
It is fight week. Crawford versus Madrimov. Yeah. Fight week. Yeah. Ego Weight Watchers, aka Ew, where I give you a look into the fighter lifestyle before, after, and progress picks, especially when they have an upcoming fight. This weekend, a stacked card brought to you by Riyadh Season. Headlined by Terence Crawford versus the champion, WBA champion, Israil Madrimov. I'm looking forward to this whole card. I will be doing a watch party on the channel, so come back on Saturday. Now, Ego Weight Watchers, they're releasing fight week content, so I was able to get a peek and do like the size up. For one, this was interesting. Eddie Hearn and Terence Crawford, they were going back and forth. Eddie Hearn was saying stuff like, I could beat you in darts, and Crawford being competitive, he's like, you can't beat me in anything, right? But let's talk about the size up. Both fighters look very lean. They look like they had great camps. I will say Terence Crawford, he looks, it's weird because he moved up in weight, but he looks almost lighter than he did in the Errol Spence fight to me. If you guys agree with that, let me know in the comment section. But first of all, the fight week for the Errol Spence fight, I feel like Terence Crawford, I had never seen him like that. And it's funny because I got my prediction wrong. I picked Errol Spence. Never picked against Crawford, but that fight I did. And people focused in on Ego finally getting a fight prediction wrong. They didn't pay attention to some of the other things I was saying. But I had never really seen Crawford look like that before a fight. His face, he just looked sucked up, and it looked like it was a hard cut. This, even though he moved up in weight, so maybe having that extra cushion, I don't even know if Crawford could make 47 anymore because he looks good right here. No diddy. And where he's at, I think he's like 37 years old at this point. This looks like he almost had to make this move. But he looked like, I'm talking about from the training camp, in the camp and everything, Terence Crawford, he looked to me like he started from a lighter spot, like in terms of his weight. For the Errol fight, it looked like Terence Crawford bulked up and he looked heavier. And then I think that's why on fight week, he looked kind of gaunt and sucked up because he had to come down and lose a lot of that bulk and muscle mass. But right here, he looks a lot better. But I will say Terence Crawford, he looks thinner. He moved up in weight and he looks thinner. So he's had a great camp. It looks like, it appears. Now, Madrimov, I'm actually impressed with Madrimov, his cut as well. And it's funny because I've made Ego Weight Watcher video and I was telling you how big Madrimov looked, but in these pictures, and they also have videos. So your boy Ego, I've been doing this with the Ego Weight Watcher series. Make sure you guys subscribe. It looks like Madrimov has a great cut as well, because there were some pictures and videos in camp where Madrimov, he looked huge. Like he looked really big. He looked like way bigger. So I was like, man, how is he gonna look on fight week? But he don't look sucked up. So I don't know what kind of training he was doing and you know how he made his cut, but neither of the fighter looked wasted on fight week, which is always a plus and should ensure for a good fight. Like I could see his face has thinned out a bit, but it don't look crazy. Like what I'm talking about is look at Crawford in the Errol Spence fight, right? Look at Errol Spence in that fight. Both guys look like they had a very hard cut for Spence Crawford. 47, Errol Spence was complaining that he couldn't look at this man's arms. You know what I'm saying? But at 47, we know Errol Spence couldn't make the division that long, or he kept talking about moving up. He never did it. He tried to give the people what they wanted. Well, he didn't try, he did, and gave us an undisputed fight, and it was his worst showing. So maybe he should have moved up and fought Keith Thurman. Terence Crawford, I could see his face kind of thinning out and stuff, but again, compare this to the Errol Spence fight week, because this was Crawford where I really seen it was Errol Spence Crawford at the Grand Arrivals. Now, I focused a lot on my videos on Crawford because Errol Spence has been the guy who he's told you that making 47 was a chore. And I've covered Errol Spence fights at 47. I want to say the fight with Ocampo, when he fought Carlos Ocampo, I was at that fight and I was right next to Errol, and I had seen his face look sucked up before. So I wasn't really focused on Errol Spence, his cut, as much as Crawford, because I knew it was a task for Errol Spence, and it's been a task for him to hit that number on the scale. So I was, in essence, I was kind of used to it, and I knew he had a nutritionist. So I was like, okay, they're going to help him arrive at the weight in the best possible way. But what was shocking to me, which is why I made the videos, is Crawford's face in the Spence fight. He just looked, I had never seen him like that. And I feel like Crawford struggled to make weight in the past, more so at like 135. You know, it got to a point where, you know, he probably had to do a lot to make 135, but at 47, I had never really seen him look like that. But both fighters looking in shape. This should be a good fight. You can see his arm. He don't look sucked up. Like you look at, let's say, Devin Haney. Devin Haney, when he's fighting against Ryan Garcia and when he was at lightweight, he just looked like a ghost. You know, his spine is sticking out in the fight with not Ryan Garcia. Well, he looked skinny in the Ryan Garcia fight, but that was after he moved up. But really in the fight with Lomachenko and Kambosos rematch, he looked bad. So I'm happy to report that Ego Weight Watchers, both of these fighters, Madrimov and Crawford, they look ready. They look ready to go, and they look leaned out. There's Crawford right there. Trying to give you guys some of the sauce on Crawford looking at the experience. But look, you see Madrimov, his face don't look all crazy. I know there's still time because it's fight week, but we got to see how they look on the scale. So this is a little bit premature, but again, by Tuesday, Crawford already looked crazy and Errol Spence already looked crazy when they fought. So I think this was a good move for Terence Crawford to move up in weight. Madrimov, he was already the champion here. And although he was looking like bulky in the buildup, right here, he looks fine, like he can make weight. And you know, you got some drone type shots. They look about the same height. Terence Crawford, I don't know. Oh, they did a cut too fast. Yeah, they look roughly about the same size. When I keep seeing them do the pose off and the face off, they look about the same size. So listen, this should be a great fight. I'm looking forward to the fight. Definitely doing the watch party. Again, you see Madrimov, he looked like he didn't cut any corners. And listen, I'm gonna tell you guys like this straight up. I made the videos about Madrimov because look at the man. He looked like he trained, like he ready to go. And I was making the Weight Watcher video, and some people were offended. And I want to talk about that and close the video with that because I found that to be hilarious. There were people who were mad at me for saying I think this is a good fight and Madrimov was in shape. Again, Madrimov is the underdog. Madrimov is the guy that people aren't necessarily familiar with his brand. So it's my job to notify you. Everybody knows who Crawford is if you're a boxing fan. And even if you're a casual boxing fan, you probably know Terence Crawford. But Madrimov, I like what I'm seeing in terms of him building up. And nobody, and I repeat, nobody is gonna stop me from expressing myself on my channel and how I feel. You're not finna bully me off of my standpoint because you're like, some people were saying, oh, you made him a Madrimov video, you're saying he's in shape, you're hating on Crawford. How is it hating on Crawford by saying his opponent's in shape? What do you want me to say? You want me to say it's a bad fight? You want me to say that Madrimov has no shot and he's in horrible shape? I'm not doing that. So I'm gonna keep saying what I'm saying. You don't like it, change your station. Madrimov looks in shape. I still believe everything that I said. This is a tougher fight than people are giving credit to. Madrimov is undefeated. He looks in shape. Yes, I know, for all the idiots who are like, oh, it's not a bodybuilding contest, Ego. I understand that. But this guy is athletic and in shape. Look at, he's doing his box jump. Watch the box jump. He jumping like 4.5, 5 feet or whatever this is, doing a box jump. So he actually has some clever footwork. And Crawford, credit to him, it's his first fight in a new weight class, which makes things very interesting to me. There's a lot of pressure. Crawford, he wants to get a Canelo fight. Me, I told you I'm not really keen on that, but we'll see what happens with that. But there's a lot of pressure, and I think there's more pressure on Terence Crawford because he's the A-lister. He's the guy that people know. He's the guy that possibly has a Canelo fight. Baby, you want baby? I know that. Waiting in the wings, you know what I mean? So he's the one that has to impress. Yes, Madrimov, there is some pressure because he's a champion. He'll lose his belt. But again, he's an obscure name that people don't even really know who he is. And I think from what I'm seeing, I'm just going off what I'm seeing, people are almost overshooting it and being disrespectful to Madrimov because they don't really know who he is. And the other angle to that is, I believe people are looking, like, boxing has always been like this. And I'm sure as long as I've been doing videos, it's gonna stay like this. People don't know the name, so they just say you're a bum. And then you go to, like, let's say BoxRec and look this guy up. He only has 10 fights. So you look at Crawford, he got 40 fights. This random dude got 10 fights or so. Like, it doesn't look like, just on paper, it don't look like it would even be a good fight. But from what I've seen and all the factors, like, Crawford's coming off of a year layoff. He has a good trainer in Joel Diaz. He's acclimated to being in the States. He's a champion, is undefeated. Usually takes a little bit more to take someone's O. He looks in shape. I really think he has some footwork. He has some angles. He has some power. I think this is going to be a good fight, and I'm looking forward to it. And the funny thing is, a lot of people are pressed with me saying that. Good, stay that way. Stay mad. I haven't even made a fight prediction. I don't even know who I'm picking for this fight. And these beta males are so sensitive that I'm giving Madrimov any level of respect or chance that they're saying, oh, you hate Crawford. I never even gave a fight prediction. I don't even know who I'm picking. I haven't even really decided. I just want to see this fight, right? But I am saying what a lot of people aren't saying is that Madrimov is a live dog. You don't have to like me. You don't have to respect that opinion, but we'll see. You know, Crawford's been on a year layoff, and I think a lot of people are putting a lot of stock in the Errol Spence fight because Crawford looks so ingenious and masterful. But Madrimov and Errol Spence, different fighters, different style, different careers, different things have transpired in their life. Like, Madrimov never went through a wicked, heinous car accident. That's just something you have to factor in. See, the Bud Buddies be getting mad when I kick the actual factuals, right? When I say stuff like that, they'll be like, oh, you're making excuses, blah, blah, blah. It's not an excuse. Errol Spence went through a violent car accident that nearly claimed his life. People like Bob Arum at the time were saying stuff like he'll never be the same and never be able to walk again and stuff. That's not Madrimov's story. That has nothing to do with Madrimov. or the next guy or Canelo or whoever. So me on my channel, I break down the fights based on a case-by-case basis, what I see. And people don't want to factor in the Errol Spence accident because they think it's taking away credit, but it's part of the story. You can't be a great detective and then you have certain evidence and certain things that are factually provable, like forensic DNA evidence, and then not include that in your investigation and be like, even though the DNA evidence rules out John Doe as the killer and the blood specimen and the blood splatter and the blood sample doesn't match, there's no way he could have deposited that blood on the knife that they found, so he can't be the killer. You can't just ignore and omit all of that and say, nah, he's still the killer, despite us having evidence that clears his name. And that's how I work and that's how I operate. So we'll see. We'll see if Crawford, and again, people are such beta males in this sport. Look, tell me he don't look big. I was telling you, he looked big, so that's what I'm saying. I'm impressed with Madrimov's cut. Look at the man's cut versus wherever he was in camp like this. So I think it's going to be a good fight. And like I said, no matter what happens, I always am a straight shooter. So if Crawford runs through him and destroys him and makes it look easy, which is what a lot of y'all believe, then I'll give him credit. But for me, I'm saying it's a good fight and he in there with a live dog. And really, I don't even know if you should bet Crawford's stoppage. Crawford, I know he's clever. I know he's stealthy. I know he's crafty and surgical and switch hitting, but he's also in there with the big man in a new weight class. And there's some different intangibles. We've seen Crawford hurt in smaller divisions. So I don't know that he runs through Madrimov like some people are saying and gets the stoppage. If he does, then fair play to him. But I got to see it. Like I said, I got to see it because I think Madrimov is coming to fight, coming to win. He knows what's at stake. He has a bit less pressure on him because he's not the star power. He's not the guy that's linked to fight Canelo. So we'll see how it all plays out. But like I said, ain't nobody going to back me off of my position because you mad that I'm saying what I'm saying. That's just never going to work on my channel. If you don't like it, don't watch my channel. But Crawford has a chance. I do think Madrimov has a chance. Kind of like a, I don't know about 50-50, but probably like a 60-40 type of fight. Somewhere in there. Again, that's not a disrespect to Crawford. What do you want me to say? Oh, the fight is terrible and Crawford's the only guy that can win. I mean, if that's how you feel, that's how you feel. Start your own channel. But I like what I'm seeing. Both guys look to be in great shape. Crawford seems calm. He looks lean. He looks in shape. He looks good at the weight. Looks much better than the Spence fight week, which I already went over earlier in this video. And as does Madrimov. He looks like a champion. Looks like he conducted himself well. We have ourselves a fight. Watch party coming this weekend. Let me know if Ego is bugging or if you give Madrimov a shot. Or is it the Crawford show? Let me know what you think in the comment section. You dig?